Hey, it's Natasha,
And Khalil.
and we are the co-hosts of Woke and
Free.
Free. Thank you for tuning in to our 81st episode of Woke and Free. If you've been tuning in every week for Woke and Free Wednesday, you know that Woke and Free is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything that's important to us, to you, and the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we're talking all about how intimate you need to be in love or to have a romantic relationship with a person. But before we dive deep into the subject, a couple of questions to ask you. First, have you subscribed to Woken Free on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or any of the other platforms we're on? If not, please go to WokenFree.com and subscribe away. Next, have you shared an episode with friends or family? If not, please consider sharing this episode. It's a really, really good conversation. Why keep it as a dirty little secret? Share away. Next, have you hollered at us on social media? If you want to share breaking news, if you have great episode ideas, want to collaborate, and you're like, oh, I'm on Facebook, I want to connect. Easily, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or even YouTube at Woken Free. Then last, have you reviewed our show? If you're interested in giving us our show a review on any of the platforms that we're on, such as iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, you can simply do so by picking your platform of choice through our website at WokenFree.com.
Each week, we like to share a little bit about us before we dive into the topic for the episode. Last week, we shared what is the strangest news story you have ever heard. This week, we're sharing, would you rather meet your favorite athlete or actor, actress?
Ooh, that's like a really hard question because, as you know, I definitely want to meet my favorite actor currently, Michael B. Jordan. I love you. But I also kind of really want to meet Serena Williams, my favorite athlete. So if I had to choose it, sadly, I'd have to go with Michael B. Jordan just because he's so delicious. But in a perfect world, I would meet both. How about you?
Well, you're trying to bring up the actor and the athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I went with the actor, but I was thinking for athlete, I wanted to meet the Money Floyd Mayweather. Just because his personality just seems so crazy.
Interesting meeting.
Yeah, I just want to know what he's like in real life when the cameras aren't there. I just wonder, but that's not
fascinating.
But who I really would want to meet, it would have to be Will Smith, I would say.
Big up,
because he's such a phenomenal. I mean, he's a
phenomenon.
He's done so great in his acting career.
Absolutely.
From where he came from, it's pretty crazy. He's gone so far. He's really developed. So
absolutely,
I definitely would want to talk to him about that growth and how he felt then and how he feels now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure.
Be interesting.
I'm not so sure about this new Aladdin live action film, but I have high hopes that hopefully it will turn out right. The trailer got me a little bit scared, but if it is what it is. Not everything's a home run.
Yeah, it happens, right?
Definitely.
That's how it goes. Well, we'll jump into the topic then. Is there a connection between intimacy and love?
Yes, actually on psychcentral.com. And again, you can find all of our links and research on our website in the episode at wokenfree.com. Intimacy is at the heart of a strong relationship. Intimacy is about knowing someone deeply and being able to be completely free in that person's presence. It is an emotional state that is often reserved for just one person. Ideally, sex in a loving relationship should be the physical embodiment of intimacy. It should come from a place of love and connection. Within a relationship, the two are inextricably linked. Intimacy builds sex, sex builds intimacy. And based on that definition, again, you could see that on psychcentral.com, which will be listed at wokenfree.com. Ultimately, I would say, that I think is an idealistic definition. Do people exist in life in a romantic relationship without intimacy? Yes, absolutely. But it seems like when you do have intimacy in a relationship, a loving relationship, it builds more long-standing and trusting love. So I think it is definitely a must, and it should be kind of achievable by people who are making good choices for their romantic partners.
So are you saying they are connected or they're not?
Yes, I think they are, based on that definition.
All right, that makes sense. And now I found on Psychology Today that they described intimacy in a couple of ways. The one way they talked about was as interpersonal communication, it's sharing and support. And then in another, they actually had a research paper written in 1986
Big up.
on the triangular theory of love, and that describes intimacy as closeness, caring, and emotional support. Research also suggests that intimacy is central to all types of love. So on this Psychology Today, they're definitely saying that romance and intimacy are definitely connected.
Interesting.
That's what they found. You know, science is a pretty great way to go about an emotional subject like love. So
Absolutely.
I tend to actually agree with them.
Absolutely. And I love Psychology Today. They have such really great resources and information that can just help you for your personal life, for your professional well-being, so many things. So I guess the next question would be then if intimacy and love are connected, then how does one build intimacy with a person they're in a romantic relationship?
Well, this is the perfect time to counter the science with somebody's personal, simple ways to actually build intimacy, as they call it. And this is actually, I found this in a Bustle article. This person's not a scientist. They wrote this
Give their
article.
thoughts. Yeah.
So they gave 9 simple steps. I'm not going to list the first 2 because I didn't even understand them. But I'll list the other ones.
Amazing.
They were a little complex for me. I mean, some people can do them. I don't know if you can read the article if you want to see those 2 though. If you're
at WokeNFree.com,
you're really
check it
interested,
out.
you can look. But I'm just going to list these ones. The first thing they said, and this one, my wife, she loves this too. It's staring in the other person's eyes for 2 minutes.
Bullshit!
You lied to the WokeNFree Nation. No bueno.
No bueno to what you just said.
But see how you like that kind of interaction?
You know that I when people stare at people's eyes for too long, it's creepy.
But only for 2 minutes, the other person.
I think have you stared at someone for 2 minutes? That's actually a bit of a long
to teach
time.
Some good lessons. Not for
only
intimacy.
in interview scenarios am I staring at someone for 2 minutes at a time. That's
What about when you're at the gym and someone's on your machine? You stare into their eyes till they get off.
You're a savage. You're a savage person. What's your next tip that was shared that you thought was funny?
The next thing was that you should assign each other an art project. This is like,
aww,
so
like for
random.
each other?
Yeah, I don't think they went into details. It could be any art
amazing.
project. It's interesting because they can make a paper mache out of the other person.
Oh, I really like that.
But what about if your art project is building like a house of cards? You can.
What
do
if
that
your
as well.
art project is being completely nude and putting food on your naked body?
It can, I guess that counts.
That's amazing.
It's
That's a Sex in the City kind of art project.
There, I mean, see, you already thought of something. The next is, I thought this was a good one too, is go food shopping together.
Obviously, the person who wrote this has not gone to BJ's or Costco anytime recently, because that is not romantic, intimate.
No,
that
it builds intimacy though, because you get to really know what that other person
and
likes
levels
in their
of
stomach.
frustration that you wish you never had.
And unfortunately, that's the great side of intimacy.
That's
as well.
like saying, why don't you go clean up horse shit to build intimacy?
No, that's a lot different, because nobody gets happy playing in that stuff. I'll tell you that. I mean, I guess unless you're like planting crops, you're going to be happy that the crops will be very plentiful for the next year. That's about it.
Wowzers.
Next was try a weekly check-in with the other person. Just see what they're
like
up
a
to.
Psychologist, yeah.
No, just make sure you know what's going on, I guess.
Per week? Once a week?
Yeah, weekly instead of daily. It doesn't have to be daily. I mean, some people do it never, so that's the thing. They're trying to imply. True. Some people never check in.
Well, we have a daily check-in, so that to me seems really extensive.
But at least the weekly check-in is good, though.
Well, yeah, it means that you actually give a damn, so sure.
Yeah, and remember, we live together. This could be for couples that are apart.
Maybe, yeah, true.
Because they may talk about other stuff, and they might plan things, but they don't actually say, hey, how are you doing? So that's when you figure that out. You do your weekly check-in.
Hey, you kind of matter.
It's like reporting to the boss. You're both bosses of each other.
CEO time, I like it.
Yeah.
All right.
Say, what'd you do for this week? Another one, this is an interesting one, is read out loud to each other.
Well, I love that because I asked you to tell me stories, which he doesn't actually oblige. He just shares weird statements.
No, but now I've even upgraded it. I let the smart assistant
I know, and
do
now
it.
he won't even do it. He just makes Alexa do it, which is super creepy.
Yeah, she can just read, and she can read to you in a scary tone, too. So
can she read in Japanese as well?
I don't know if Japanese is a supported language, but Spanish
Phenomenal.
might be on there.
Muy bueno.
And sorry, sign language isn't a part of it.
Well, how could it? It's an audible.
But it has an image on it, depending which one you get.
So creepy.
It could just sign it. Oh, it'd be really funny, though, with the hands. I don't know. And another is spend deliberate time apart. Now, that's one that you try. See, I can't do that, but this is something that you can do.
You can't do that,
I don't know how to live without you. So
that's okay.
I wouldn't know
I
how.
would say something, but
don't
we are
say
on
anything,
air.
because I have to continue on to the next thing. And final thing that I found out from this article. And that's once a month, make plans to have no plans. And I think we've done that.
Yeah.
Just say, you know what? No plans.
No bueno. Yeah, we just give up.
I don't know if I don't think it's once a month, but it said at least. So yeah, of course it could be more times than that.
Yeah, true. Okay, good point.
That's what I found.
Psychology Today, there are apparently 10 proven ways to build intimacy. I won't name all of them, but some that I thought were really cool. Disclose more to feel closer. So apparently intimacy is a process of discovery with another. Written by Joel Bennett in Time and Intimacy, a new science of personal relationships. Over time, though, without continued attentiveness, it is easy to lose that urge to keep discovering all there is to know about one another. Individuals that psychologists have dubbed openers have intimate conversations with others because something about them encourages disclosure. Those who don't open up or make it easy for others to do so, known as high self-monitors, have a more difficult time with close relationships. So I think we both know people in our lives that definitely fit that classification or that category. And I think that even if you take the concept of intimacy out of a romantic relationship, it's challenging if people are fraudulent liars and so if you're trying to not be fraudulent liars and love each other and have a fruitful romantic relationship, I think creating a safe space to disclose more and make the other person feel closer to you is a really great idea. So I'm all for that. Another thing is to make time for deeply emotional conversations. That's what I would say a lot to our 2 a.m. conversations about philosophy, religion, and politics. So yes, wow. I think we definitely engage on that. I like this one, which is do something new or big together. You and I have some big news that we will be announcing. No, we're not pregnant. But stay tuned for the news. We definitely will be blasting that on social media.
And we don't have a murder of crows.
What the hell is that?
It's a big grouping of crows.
Are you joking?
No, that's what it's called. That's what it's called when there's a lot of crows together.
Who the hell announced that?
It's a big thing, though.
Do farmers announce that?
No, because they can't have those many crows. That's hard to get.
Why? The scarecrows get upset? I mean, come on, man.
Because crows, I don't think they want that.
I have to monitor what you're watching.
No, because think about that. If you have that many crows, that's like the birds. Something's happening. It's going to be like Attack of the Birds. It's going to be like the movie.
You're crazy.
No, I'm saying that's not the announcement, though. I said it's not the announcement.
Thankfully not, yeah.
Just so people don't get ideas.
Well, we do live in New York, so no. That is definitely not our announcement. Stay tuned for big news. Another thing would be shake up the routine, which we definitely are a fan of and kind of goes in hand with our new announcement that will be coming. And then another one would be ensure that it's safe to be open. And I think that's important because a lot of people, sometimes don't feel like they're in a safe space in their relationship. I would chuckle if I had to think of some couples that come to mind for that. But yeah, you shouldn't feel like you're going to be reamed a new one for opening up to your partner.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, so those are some. Again, you can find all 10 ways listed in the episode at WokeNFree.com.
Do you need intimacy in a romantic relationship?
So, according to counselor, psychotherapist Keely Townsend, he claims that a relationship needs intimacy, regardless of whether it's a physical intimacy or an emotional intimacy. Oh, wow. Your relationship will slowly wither and die without it. This is where it gets tricky because your relationship actually needs both type of intimacy. All right. And you can't create a physical intimacy without the emotional intimacy, nor can you have complete emotional intimacy without the physical aspect as well. So this is where many couples find their relationship in trouble. And it's also very common for one type of intimacy to be more important to one partner than the other. Then they both find themselves going along thinking everything's fine until their partner finally speaks up and lets them know intimacy levels are not what they should be. or even more tragic is when neither party says anything and they find themselves ending the relationship without really knowing why. And he goes on and on. I mean, he says, human beings require intimacy. This is why simple physical affection such as hand-holding, cuddling, hugs, and kisses are important to your relationship. These simple actions let you and your partner know that you're there for one another, that you matter to the other. For my opinion, I would say, as a person in a relationship of, we're going to be hitting 15 years this September. Yeah, we've been together since we're 18, so a long time. And I would say I totally, for even us, if we're going to keep it 100, right? Both types of intimacy are not equally weighed for both of us. That I definitely, as the intellectual lover, really need emotional intimacy and intellectual compatibility. Not to say that physical intimacy isn't important. I just, I'm just a highly functioning intellectual person who's really all about like debate and conversation and, just doing things together. I don't think everything needs to be done on the bed or on the floor or in the kitchen. If you get my drift. Woohoo!
Oh, so space then.
Exactly. So I agree, and it's cool to get that kind of affirmation, because I think that's very common with people. Yeah, like some people are all about the woohoo sexy time, and other people are like, hey, let's just like watch a movie and discuss it, and other people are like, what, without our pants on, with our pants on, what are you talking about, right? Like it's a whole thing. But I think ultimately, if you want a real relationship, it seems like you need intimacy to be a part of that equation. And if you're just looking to bang and not really have a relationship, then you wouldn't necessarily need it. But what are your thoughts?
You are listening to WokeNFree.
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 A podcast that keeps it real and honest.
Well, that's interesting. They're saying that intimacy can be physical and emotional.
Yes.
Because I guess, yeah, it is described as both, but...
Since you lack the emotional, yeah.
Well,
that's a hard conversation. Does not compute.
I don't think romance can just live on forever without a closeness to the other person.
You mean without your pants on?
Because come on, romance is the stuff written in the books. Your pants are in books.
Oh, okay. With your pants on now, then.
Oh.
We're going to take it different
books.
further.
But romance is in books. Romance is in movies. Like, think about it.
Romance, you mean by the horizontal dance?
No, I'm telling you. I'm saying romance is just like, that's like the emotional part, but you definitely need both. You can't just give up on the other just because there's one.
Indeed. I think it ties together. I think all that this doctor is saying is that essentially, the partners won't always feel the same way as to what they both need, right? Because people that are like super hot and ready, and then some aren't. And so I think that what he's saying is that you do need something, right? So people have to have a give and take, but one can't be without the other. You can't just have someone who's sexing, like a couple that sexes and never emotionally connects, nor can you have someone who just emotionally connects and never sexes. Like, I think you have to kind of mix it in, but you're a fan of the couple that is constantly without their pants on, essentially.
Well, they're figuring out new ways to show their affection.
Phenomenal.
So it could be just high-fiving each other every time
with their genitalia.
That's going to be painful. Better buy like boxing gloves for that stuff.
Oh, I thought you were going to say lubrication.
That wouldn't help. If you're high-fiving each other with it.
It's a different type of high-five. Use your imagination, Khalil.
High fives are pretty powerful. I'll tell you that. It's a powerful high five.
So is love.
All right. Get your mind out of the gutter.
Oh, it's too late for that, lover.
Well, we got to talk about what is the consequence of having a romantic relationship without intimacy.
So this was actually from a UK site, counseling directory.org.uk. According to that site, without intimacy, there isn't the security in the relationship of knowing that the other person is there for you, or of knowing that they truly love you. Where intimacy is lacking, most partners don't intend to hurt their significant other, or even unaware of the lack of intimacy, which is why a lacking relationship, whether emotionally or physically, doesn't have a promising success rate. Intimacy can cause support, understanding, and loneliness and anger issues between the couple. So essentially, I think what they're suggesting is when you have a romantic romantic relationship and you lack intimacy, you essentially, it jeopardize the vitality of the relationship, and it causes the partners to question if they really have a support system in their partner and whether or not they are really there together, like in it to win it. And so essentially I just think it just leads to the sizzling out of it.
And I think a big point is that it says you can hurt the other partner without even realizing you hurt them.
Yeah.
Because you don't really know them on that level, right?
True.
So you
Very true. You can actually
make certain
cause
decisions
harm. Yeah.
that actually hurt your lover. And that's your one. So it's
more like
danger.
family then, right?
That's the danger that can happen. That's
I'm
definitely.
salty.
I thought you were sweet.
A little bit of both. You
well,
know.
Yeah, sugar and spice makes everything nice.
This is a freaky episode, Khalil.
What? You know that? I hope you know that phrase at least.
Absolutely not.
You've never heard that?
I think in movies, maybe.
Wow, that
People
phrase
haven't
comes
said
from
that
somewhere.
to me, though. No.
That phrase comes from a place. It
in
does.
your mind?
No, it's not my mind. It's not my mind. I'll tell you that. No, it's
I
not.
wish
It
I
comes
could
from
see
a
your
place.
face right now. This is basic.
I'm not doing anything with my face. It's very
Other
solemn.
than making.
Oh, the solemn gestures I'm making.
Oh man.
Don't-
Yep,
don't try
exactly.
it. Because the other thing that they didn't even mention was that it can cause two people to grow apart. I don't think they mentioned that specifically. But they slowly grow apart. They see it's easy for them to turn their back on each other, I think, too, without intimacy.
Indeed, for sure.
You're just like, you know what? I'm going to go do this and you're going to go do that. Because we've been growing apart and I didn't even realize it over these years.
Now, do you personally, given your romantic history, believe that intimacy ultimately makes for a better romantic relationship?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the backbone of our relationship, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it a lot easier for us to divulge to each other. I think if we didn't have intimacy, that would be a lot more difficult because it would be like, I don't know how you're going to respond to this and how you're going to treat me and if there's going to be backlash. But at least now, knowing you better, I know that I can reveal stuff and it's not going to be like detrimental to my existence.
Absolutely.
And that's not true with everybody. And I mean, you've seen consequences of that.
Fraudulent liars.
You tell people stuff and they go use it against you. I mean, that's like the worst thing. And you're like, no. But if you have intimacy, you'll know better than to do that. You're not going to do stuff like that. You're going to make better choices.
Absolutely.
You're not going to try to hurt the other person when they tell you stuff.
No. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree. For our relationship.
You gotta feel safe in your own home.
Oh.
I'm bringing up that line again. We've said that in another episode, but it's important. Please feel safe in your own home.
You talking smack.
No, that's just because people don't realize that. They don't feel safe in their own home with their significant other.
You're messed up.
And is that really a great romantic relationship?
Ooh la la.
Well, some things you can't be safe from, though.
Ooh, sexy time.
Yeah, exactly. Some things, that's a different safe, though.
Oh, Jesus. Safety words.
You have to have safety words, then.
We should totally do an episode about safety words. I don't think we have one. Oh, God. We're out of control.
Oh, man.
Oh, geez. Okay, we're going to swing this back. So for our relationship, I would say that, I feel happily married because our emotional intimacy is like no other. I mean, not only are we each other's best friends, but we do, like you mentioned, have a safe space to share our thoughts, our fears, our insecurities. Yes, we all have insecurities and our ideas. And you, like you said, you don't want to be in a situation where you're sharing your thoughts and you feel like, wow, this person's going to use this against me. They're going to ridicule me. They're going to ask me if I'm a simpleton.
Hopefully not. Please.
So I think because of this, our relationship is stronger. And, the physical intimacy and compatibility, I think that we've been able to talk about all of the things, right? Because, I think for me, not growing up feeling very secure about my body, not being very secure about my body image and beauty and all of that stuff is something that had to kind of make its way into whatever relationship I was in because, you bring your baggage with you, right? And so I definitely feel that for me personally, emotional intimacy has made for a better love and a stronger relationship. And it's sex time with our minds, our bodies, our souls, our hearts. It's
if you say so.
Yes. Ooh la la.
Okay, you're having too much fun over there.
I am having too much fun. The cat is too, though. He's like totally licking himself. It's amazing, guys.
Well, he's admiring you.
Meow, 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 meow.
Yeah.
Meow,
He
meow.
likes listening to you. Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time. Scenario 1. Holly is a successful professional engineer who has a ton of patents in her name, which allowed her to become the most sought-after engineer in her field. She travels around the globe working with so many people, but not so much time goes to her SO. Is it possible for her to have intimacy with her SO with so little time to devote?
SO being significant other, right?
So...
Exactly. Because we don't know her sexual orientation. I appreciate that. That's phenomenal. Okay, so this is an interesting question. I think it applies to a lot of people. Some people do have jobs that require that they travel far, and you know, it doesn't mean that you can't have a romantic relationship. It just means you have to have new rules of engagement for your love life. So I think it depends. It depends on how committed they both are to making the most of their time, right? Because even if you aren't allowed more than, maybe she isn't allowed more than 30 minutes a day to kind of talk to her SO, listen, if they make use, if they plan it, so like Monday nights is like taco night, so they both get tacos wherever they are and they eat it in their underwear, right? And you know, and stuff like that. And like as long as they also maybe text each other throughout the day, and then when they do see each other, they try to make sure that they really focus on enjoying each other's company. And every time they do speak with each other, they're keeping it honest, they're keeping it real, they're sharing any types of challenges they have, so they're not hiding anything from each other. I think that you can really have a go with her SO, because it doesn't, just because you're not physically there doesn't mean you can't still have love. Now, granted, if her SO needs more physical intimacy more frequently than what they're getting, then that's a conversation they're going to have and kind of maybe make decisions in the couple that can allot for that potentially. But overall, I wouldn't say that it's a failure just because they're not in the same like time zone or same place.
All right. Yeah, it probably is possible. They just have to work harder on the relationship, and maybe they can take those 9 tips from the Bustle article.
So when they're having taco night, they can stare just at each other for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, see, you can combine all that in one while they're working their art project. You can eat your tacos, stare into each other's eyes.
While naked, amazing.
Working on your art project,
Amazing.
Be naked.
Sexy time.
See how that does, though? That's a good one.
Ooh la la.
And then they can have no plans at the same time. They'd be like, we have no plans. Let's go karaoke.
Other than woohoo.
Well, they can do a impromptu karaoke session.
Amazing.
While eating tacos.
While naked.
Yeah. While staring into each other's eyes for 2 minutes.
Other's eyes.
And also working on their art projects together.
I love you in this art project. We're clearly going to have to start an art project.
Okay, then they can
after
do
this.
their weekly check-in at the same time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
See, just throw it all together. You know, you have less time, so you're going to have to make it work.
They just lick their feet like the cat does.
That's not part of the steps to success. That's not synergy, as we say in the industry.
Synergy. Literally.
That's not what we call synergy right there.
You've lost
Licking the
it,
feet.
and I've lost it, and we have to keep going on.
I just felt it was the moment to bring that up.
Ooh la la.
Scenario 2. Cornelius and Whitney have a passionate love life. They can't even remember a time before being together and what they would do without one another. Do they know each other really well, or is the sex just too good?
Ooh, I love this question because actually most couples I meet hardly know each other. Because I asked one partner one set of questions. I asked the other partner what the other partner would say. They haven't a clue about each other. So it actually is this scenario fascinates me. I think the only answer would be to ask both Cornelius and Whitney a series of questions about each other. Cornelius, what is Whitney's favorite color? Whitney, what is Cornelius's favorite place?
They say sex for all the answers.
Okay, sir. Well, then the answer is they just have really good sex then. Because sex is not the answer to everything, guys. It's so I would say based on a series of questions, if they could actually divulge information about each other that didn't involve their favorite sexual positions, where they had the best sex, anything sex related, then you could get to an answer.
So that's how you know then. You gotta ask the non-sexual questions
Indeed.
about the other partner.
Yes.
If you can actually answer them, then maybe.
Maybe, yeah. So remains to be determined. So TBD is my
They
answer.
show this in TV shows all the time too.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Well, we also have a whole series of programming. Don't we have people who marry each other after 45 days? Or, marry the strangers. We have all this programming really not encouraging
Wife
intimacy.
swap.
Yeah, all this. Do they sex each other?
I hope not.
Oh, good God. That can't be on prime television.
But it's wife swap. I know that's what it's called.
It's definitely not husband swap, yeah. you damn
boy.
well know.
The husband's actually waiting in the closet. I never left the room. He's waiting.
Hot mess. Hot mess.
That's what would happen. You know, it's crazy like that.
I can't.
Scenario 3. Jaime and Johan have been dating for a long time. Jaime is always wondering if Johan is really in the relationship since they have been together for so long. But sometimes things are left unsaid. Are Jaime and Johan truly intimate since they have been dating for such a long time?
Great question. So I'm not saying those names, first and foremost.
Well, you can just say Jamie and you can say Johan.
Jay and Jay
No, you can say
been
Jamie.
dating for a long time, and just because you've been dating for a long time is not there. That does not create an assumption of intimacy, which is really what this question is asking. And so I think there's a difference between being with someone for a long time and intimately being with someone for a long time. And just because you've been with somebody for a long time doesn't mean, again, that Jay can answer all questions about J squared, or that, you know, they know exactly how they're feeling at that moment when you speak to them. So no, it doesn't mean that they are intimately involved. It means that they just had a long time duration with each other. That's about all. You need more information.
Then it looks like you disproved that age-old theory. Time mends all.
Oh, hell's yeah. No, I'm too petty.
You're like, nah, the time didn't help out this
Well,
thing.
you know what it is for me, at
That's
least
it.
in my familial relations. I've seen people, you know, carry grudges for 40, 50 years. So just
Wow.
because time has passed doesn't mean a relationship has gotten better. It just means time has passed.
Or maybe I shorten it. It might be time mends all wounds or something like that.
In theory, but
That's
it's
what
not.
it is.
But the phrase is a little bit incomplete because it's really not time that's doing it. It's really the person deciding to be
actually-
less angry and the
Yeah,
person
you gotta
forgiving
work on
them
that,
in
right?
time. It's not. Time literally does nothing other than pass because it's a fiction. It doesn't
Well,
doesn't
that's the
actually
first step.
exist.
Yeah, that's
So
the
it's the
problem.
person deciding to do something with the time that they have. And so I would just say if they've been together for a long time, hopefully they've actively been trying to be intimate. Otherwise, they just hang in with the same person for a long time.
Hanging with the...
No answer?
I think that they are not intimate. That's what I would say.
¿Por qué?
Because they just think that since they've been dating for so long, everything is cool, and that's not a great way to measure a relationship. Just because, and some people do definitely measure their relationship based off of them being together for long. Like, well, we were together for 10 years, so we must be intimate, and that's a terrible reasoning.
That's not a measure.
Like, come on now, get it together. That doesn't mean
You
anything.
said get it together. I
But
can't.
people will do that. They'll be like, yeah, I've been together. You know I know them. I've been with them for 10 years. Of course I'm intimate.
What's it for color?
It's sex.
Amazing.
See, that's what they have to
amazing.
go with.
Red. Every woman loves red, right? Yeah. No.
I guess so.
Exactly. We are at that time again. It is coming to the end of our 81st episode of Woke and Free. Wowzers.
Oh boy.
This was quite the episode discussing how well you need to know someone to love them. Will I leave you hanging for what our next episode will be about? Drum roll, please.
On our next episode, we will be discussing whether people read enough. So make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation. And make sure you tune in next week for Woken Free Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you want to be a guest on our show, please submit a topic for an upcoming episode or share how you feel on our Contact Us page at WokenFree.com. That is WokenFree.com. We are also super active on social media. You can easily find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even YouTube at WokenFree. And then if you would be interested in being an upcoming sponsor for any of our episodes or want to collaborate on something, again, easily contact us on our Contact Us page at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do. Share the episode. Make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for Woken Free Wednesdays. Remember, Woken Free is more than a podcast. It is a way of life. Until next time.
Ooh la la.